Hi and welcome to another gaming video. And in today's video I want to talk about a multi-generation gaming era. You always get crossover games released on more than one gen. So usually once the new generation of console is out, the past one will get a few games towards the end of its life. But recently this has become more and more. The PlayStation 4 is a prime example of a last gen console hanging around, and it's been 5 years, nearly 6 years since the release of the PS5, and yet the PS4 is still here. It's still receiving games, and they're big name games at that. So Black Ops 6 was released for both the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 5, and it looks as if Black Ops 7 will also be released for both systems, despite early reports of it dropping the last gen console. And the same can be said of the Switch. The Switch 2 is out. The Switch doesn't show any signs of slowing down. And with reports that Switch 2 dev kits are in short supply or Nintendo are just not handing them out, they've been told to make their game compatible with the Switch and then patch it or give it a Switch 2 upgrade at some point. That is not throwing everything at the new platform. With the PlayStation 6 due in sort of 2027, could we see a multi-generation gaming setup? So perhaps it is because there's a smaller jump in technology from generation to generation of consoles, which we've seen in the last few years. You go from something like the PlayStation to the PlayStation 2 was quite a big jump. But I think it's got smaller as it's gone along, and maybe game developers can now squeeze a game onto the last gen console quite easily, make it look and run okay, and then they release it on the current gen, and it looks and runs absolutely stunning. This is kind of similar to how the PS4 and the PS4 Pro or the Xbox One and the Xbox One X were supposed to be. They were supposed to just offer better performance on the Pro or the X console, but now we seem to be splitting that across generations. Games that are developed for the PS5, they can be cut down to run well enough on the PS4, and I think this could happen with the Switch. So games that are released for the Switch too, but there'll be a Switch version that doesn't run quite as fast, or maybe won't have as good looking graphics. PS4 to PS5, Switch to Switch 2, the generational jump isn't as huge, and I think we're going to see this more and more. So maybe gone are the days of you need a new console to play the latest games. Of course, there's always exclusive games. I mean, there's exclusive games on the PS5 that haven't been released on the 4. There will be Switch 2 games that won't be released on the Switch. But it just seems as if the newest console isn't the main focus for games companies. It makes you wonder, why do I need to jump to the next console if my current console will still get the majority of new games for quite a few years to come? It's a kind of a catch-22, and I think that's why the PlayStation 4 has hung around. Companies are developing games for it, so people are sticking with it. People are sticking with it, so therefore companies are just going to carry on making games. The Switch, the PS4 has such a huge install base that perhaps game developers and companies and even the console makers themselves just don't want to cut such a good revenue stream. So it will be interesting to see how this goes moving forward. So, how the likes of Black Ops 7 runs on the last gen hardware, and then how it compares to running on the current gen. The same with the Switch games. There just doesn't seem no sense of urgency. I'm a Switch owner. I don't see any need to jump to a Switch 2. There's a lot of games still coming out for the Switch that are fantastic. The same with the PS4. One of my sons still has his PlayStation 4, and he's got no need to jump to the 5 because most of the games will run on the 4. Okay, they may not look as good. They may run a bit slower. They may, I don't know, just have a bit of texture loss. But you're still getting them. And it never used to be like that. It used to be you needed a new console to play the new games. So let me know what you think about this multi-generation gaming era that we seem to have gotten into, and how is that going to work going forward? PS6 is out soon, or in a couple of years, and are we going to have 4, 5, and 6 all running together in harmony? Let me know. Link, like, subscribe, enjoy.